Eli the Halo Guy.
Eli the Halo Guy.
Tips, tricks, tips, tricks, tips, tricks. Eli the Halo Guy.
Opponent has now respawned. He's gonna spawn his teammates there. Probably elbow here in a sec.
But
Bottom
it's
tower
spawn.
spawn. I stuck one. Oh my god.
Eli the Halo Guy.
Under.
RPCs.
Dead.
Eli the Halo Guy.
Tips, tricks, tips, tricks, tips, tricks. Eli the Halo Guy.
What's up, guys? Eli the Ninja back again. This is going to be a different style of video. This was an edited down version of the Metafy group session that I did last week. Essentially, we had people sign up, and 8 of the people who signed up played a 4v4 match against each other while I observed. We then did a group VOD review session where I was flipping between POVs and pulling people onto the stage to talk to me directly about what their thought processes might have been during the plays themselves, and I would try to tell them what I thought they were doing well, what I thought they could have done better, and I think everybody had a great time. It was a fun learning experience for everyone. For this video though, the editor actually just cut out most of the sections where I was talking to the students directly and just kept the sections where I'm advising about how to play the game type correctly. So this is really just an educational video about Aquarius, CTF, and Livefire Slayer and how you can improve your win rate in those game types. I am doing another group session like this though, next Tuesday, the 16th of January at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Signups are open right now, so if you want to sign up for that, check out the link in the description. The first 8 players to sign up will be the ones that play against one another. Anybody that signs up after the 8th will be given a 25% off coupon code for my coaching, so that you can essentially forward your $15 investment into one-on-one coaching, but you can also be a part of the group session and ask questions and learn while you're there as well. So I think great value. It's a cool concept. I'm probably going to start doing more of these, maybe twice a month, and we'll be making a few videos like this so you can help you improve your win rate as well. So without further ado, enjoy the video. All right, so what I like to do at the beginning of every VOD review is we're just gonna fly around the map and talk about our framework for our goals as we play this game type. So while I do this, I might pull people onto the stage if I'm gonna talk about your gameplay specifically, but we're gonna just give ourselves an overall game plan first. Essentially, this map is mostly thought about as you want to control car side most heavily so that we can run the flag this way. This is definitely the better side of the map to run, and we should be running it this way mostly if we have to stay safe because there's still enemies alive on the map or because they're about to spawn and we don't want to die right away. So if we got a fresh 4 dead and we're in their flag though, then we can absolutely just run it straight through bottom mid. Because we know we have so much time before the enemies are coming off spawn, right? But if we only got like 2 dead and then we had to push into their base and then we got another 2 dead, we know that first set of 2 that we killed is coming off spawn soon. So instead of running it mid and risking dying to like someone in their fridge, like that's when we should run it the safe way through car. It's definitely important to control car side, but at the same time, we can't completely ignore P side. So most of the time, my decisions when I come off spawn, for example, is I first look at where my teammates are. I assess the situation. What are they doing? Are they in a fight? And then if they're in a fight, let's say I spawn up and my teammates are already car side, I'll like walk up here to see if they need help with the fight, but then I'll immediately go P side because we also need to control this. If we just ignore P altogether, then enemies can just kind of leak through to our side without us recognizing it. So it's super important that we're always keeping tabs on, you know, which parts of the map our teammates can see and what they can't see, and then choosing to fill that gap. Now, as far as the sandbox goes on this map, the thrusters, I think, are actually the most important item to control. It's basically a free kill if you use it correctly. If you're not comfortable with the thrust, you need to get comfortable with the thrust because it's extremely important on this map and any map that it's on. They respawn every minute. If you pick it up, you can call out like, hey, our thrust comes up at, and then you look at the timer and just subtract a minute and just call out the time that it's coming up next. That's pretty helpful. Or if you just see it up and you're not in position to grab it, like say that it's up so that somebody can go grab it when they're able to. Also, when you pick it up, you can zoom in and see if the other team's thrust is up. Zoom in and check if the other one's up so you can call it as well. Also, can't forget about the heat wave. It's really the only power weapon on the map. The sidekick is also phenomenal. It has a much faster time to kill at short range than the bandit, so we would like to get good with that gun as well. Shock nades, definitely not what they used to be, but we shouldn't ignore them altogether. These respawn every 30 seconds, but I don't even think they're strong enough to, you know, flood the comms with when they're going to come back. It's just so hard to get damage with these things nowadays. If we do have them, I think the best place to try to use them is like actually in the util. If somebody's hiding in a corner, for example, it's a great way to, if you can place it right next to them, it can just completely kill them close to the wall. You just want to use it when they are in a corner most of the time. So this is the way that I envision like a perfect flag cap. Okay, we get control of car side. One person stays car 3. 2 people push in to the base. While one grabs the flag, the other person watches their back. The whole time this is going on, you have a guy P2 that maybe jumps up here to get some deeper angles to help the fight, and then they rotate over here to shoot the spawners that spawn in the fridge. So when you play P2, the biggest thing you have to think about is you don't want to get too close to the fridge to block the spawn while your teammates are in car 2 or their flag. If we're blocking all the spawns, like let's say we start blocking fridge at the same time we're blocking the util and then a teammate's in their base, we're now blocking all of their primary spawns. So the game will start diving into what are called emergency spawns. So the emergency spawns are like P1, car 2, like these are the main ones is P1 and car 2. We don't want to give the other team these spawns when we're about to run the flag, because how easy is it for them to cut off the flag runner, right? This is just the easiest position to just move forward and then kill. Like they could just look back at their base, find the flag runner and cut them off. Or they could take that opportunity to overextend and go into your base and cut you off directly at the flag. So it's very important to be mindful as we enter their base, what we're blocking and what we're not blocking. Just always being hyper aware as we're pulling the flag, what spawns are we blocking and what spawns are open. And once we look at all that information, we can decide the best way to run the flag. Generally speaking, if you spawn up and your team is already pulling the flag, your job is to try to kill the enemy's overextending on the other side, because you should predict that whoever spawns up is going to try to cut off the flag guy, and you need to cut them off before they cut off your flag guy, essentially. And it's important for you to go all the way to the right here. So this is an interesting conversation where like, I think people get too hung up on listening to call outs in situations like this. Like, yeah, you can walk up and help him win this fight, but afterwards we need to go this way, because right now this is a whole blind spot for our team, right? Like this entire right side is a major blind spot. So I would probably listen to this call out, help him win this fight, but then immediately go this way, because there's some great sight lines that you can help people with here. Like imagine your teammate fights a guy at P side and he backs down and he goes through the courtyard. You can see it from here. Or if there's another guy car 3, you can jump up from here and fight as well. But just getting eyes right here at some point is so important. So I think that we should have definitely checked that blind spot, because now this guy is going to be able to get around us. We do eventually come back though. This is good. So we do come back here. Now we check it. I just would have liked it a little bit sooner. Perfect. So we see how effective that was. But the problem is we only got 1 kill and we're pushing into their base. I don't want to go in their base while I'm getting shot in the back. In some cases, it's okay, like if it's just one guy. But in the kill feed, we should know that since the game started, your team only got 1 kill. So like I wouldn't even be thinking about getting in their base until we got a few more kills here. Now we do get the kills. And then we don't run it. We just run it straight through mid. If we're going to run this, I think this would be a time, like this is the 2-person push, but we already kind of messed it up because we didn't clear our side, but we should be running it into the util while Risky just like watches mid map, I think. So we can run the flag through util and then we could maybe hold off the pressure, but like there's still 2 alive on the map and we're running it to the center. This is not a good time to run it mid map. This is why the comms are all about the numbers, because if we're keeping track of how many are dead at all times, then it's going to be way simpler to play the running game, because you'll know if it's okay to run it or if we need to get a few more slaves before we finish the run. Flag died. I actually like the way you're playing this. You're like watching them. You know they're going to drop on it, so you're using their flag as bait. So I do like this play right here. Get a kill. So coming off spawn, just taking a survey, there's 1 dead on each team. If we're watching the kill feed, we would know that. One teammate's already all the way in their base here, and we have another teammate directly on our left. I'd also see that the thrust is up. So from this spawn point, I probably grab the thrust and then jump P2 from the front of the base, just because I need to get eyes on Risky to see if I could help him win that fight, and then maybe we could run the flag P side. That's kind of what I'm thinking about here. To be honest with you guys, like the only time I'm crossing through mid are if there's so many dead on the other team that it doesn't matter, because I can just take a fast route to get to the other side. Or my teammates are already like P2 or car 3, so I can just more safely move across the bottom. But like if we don't have control of P2 and car 3, we have to take safer routes. And that's why I suggested running this way. It's because like we don't have the freedom to just go mid map right now, because we don't have the map. We don't have map control. What I think about Livefire Slayer. Let's do the runaround as well. So this game type, we can play hyper aggressive when we have kills, okay? So there's going to be multiple times throughout this game we got kills and then we stayed in the same spot or we backtracked towards our team. So the number one predictor of success is what we do after we get kills. All right. So the idea is if we take up enough map space, we shrink the area that the other team can spawn smaller and smaller. Let's say hypothetically our whole team just won a fight for overshield and we got 4 dead. I want 2 teammates to jump up here and go sandbags, and I want 2 teammates to go like C plat and top mid. Guess what? Because we create this like U shape on this side of the map, we will force the other team to spawn green at 100% frequency. Because we are taking up so much map space that the game only has one part of the map to give the other team for spawns. And guess what? We're in perfect positions to pinch those spawns, because let's say we have 2 guys that jump screens. One goes sandbags, the other guy goes all the way through big door. Guess what? They don't have any way to escape this way. If the other 2 people go to nest bridge, they don't have anywhere to escape on the other side either. We kill them here, we do the same thing. Now, those guys that went big door and sandbags, they wrap back the other way. These guys block the B spawn, and then we force them dummies. Guess what? We're going to pinch them again. They just go. That's how you can go on a steamroll and continually kill opponents, okay? There was multiple times this game that we're going to watch that you guys condensed backwards towards your team after getting kills in positions that if you just played aggressive and took space, you could have like steamrolled your way to win the game. Momentum is massive in all Slayer game types, because if we get the kills, then we should also get the weapons and also have the heads up on where we can force the enemy to spawn. So also when it comes to the opening strat, we want kind of an even spread of places to watch. Like the fact that nobody went big door here is a big problem, but now we're all in the bottom of the map. You remember how annoyed I was on Aquarius that everyone's low? Same thing on this map. We need top control as much as possible. Overshield's coming up, so like it's okay to check this side. As soon as high key spawns here, I would know that the enemies are in A. Whenever my teammates spawn, I'm paying attention to where they spawned, because that's going to give me information about where the enemies are. So like right here, when I see high key KS spawn training, I'm like, okay, they're definitely in A, because usually the enemies will be opposite of where we spawn. So in this case, there's a guy bottom middle and there's 2 guys big door, and that's why we spawned here, because we're also blocking the A spawns by being over here. I would also think there's a chance that they're like overshield in this moment, like dummies. We can see that they're in A. So as soon as Heike spawns there, I'm like, okay, they're not going to be at B, because he would not spawn there if they were at B. So I want to go out here and look at overshield as soon as possible. You guys actually forced a split spawn here. And I don't know why we dropped this way. I guess because somebody called out bottom mid. It makes more sense for you to push this way and have this angle. As a rule of thumb, to increase your likelihood of getting the overshield, the shroud for sure, you want C-plat control and you want sandbags control. If you have these 3 things, it's going to be almost impossible for the other team to get the overshield, because you've got the sight lines to see all of turbine from both sandbags and C-plat. And if you have the shroud and you have another teammate that pushes out here, you can make sure they get it, right? If you're here and your teammates are already on that side, like just cover the left side. Right here, you can see that this guy was actually dummies. And if we just went straight here to get eyes on OS ASAP, like it's good that high key is going bottom, but you don't need to also go bottom, right? He can go bottom and then you can go this way. And then if somebody's over here, you guys are going to shred him, because he's going to have to play defense against somebody in the door and on the plat at the same time. Like how much harder is this guy's life if he's getting shot from 2 different angles, right? Like imagine your key door, dummy door, C plat, and A plat. Is there anybody that could possibly get the overshield? No. One of those guys could also be cuts. That's another fine spot. Yeah, working together can mean taking different angles on the same target. Exactly. It's actually way better to shoot the same target from different angles than shooting the same target from the same angle. Because if you're at the same angle, that means the enemy also has the same escape options away from that angle, right? If I'm in this spot, like I would rather one of my teammates, if we say like, hey, let's push A, I would want one of these guys to go this way to push A, maybe another guy to push this way to push A at the same time. We don't need to literally be inside each other's Spartans as we do this. But like we could see how it would be a little bit easier if somebody just wrapped far left in this moment. We don't have to go all the way to B. That doesn't really make sense. But in this moment, one of you guys could have just walked back down the cuts and gone left side while somebody else crosses top mid. Another thing that's interesting about this is like, if we spread out more, it's easier to determine where the enemies are, which means we can pinch them more easily, attack them from multiple angles. Like we all somehow end up bottom mid. Risky said, I think my call out of 2 bottom mid after dying from big door to push the key door may have caused them to push bottom mid. Yes. And that's another thing that we talked about was like call outs don't mean that it's your job to push that, or like everybody stops what they're doing to go push that. This would be an okay time actually to push with chaos because you're the only 2 alive. So like another rule of thumb is if you're the only 2 players alive, that's when it's okay to hold hands. But if like we've got more than 2 alive, we don't need to all hold hands, right? Like we can take more space on the map. But in this case, I would go with him because like the next spawner can be the one that takes space. So if you're the next spawner in this situation, this is why we always take tabs of where our teammates are and what they're doing when we come off spawns, because it changes our option. So if I see both my teammates are in big door when I spawn up, I'm probably going to go sandbags because I can take a unique angle to fight the same thing. We just want a good spread as we approach the same area, if that makes sense. So off of this spawn, my teammates are already fighting left side of A. I actually like the decision to go top mid here. I would go straight to top mid because I'm thinking if these guys are fighting and get some damage on these guys and they're weak and they run away, I could potentially kill them from top mid, or I could cut off the next guy, which happens to be right here. But we're going left. We got to be spreading out in moments like this. Like take a different angle. If you go this way, you're not going to see anybody that this guy can't already see. But if you go this way, you're going to stop this guy from shooting your next teammate, and then you're going to be able to finish like you could get a triple kill if you just went top mid right here. And then these guys have way less options to escape from, right?